Find the people in your community to buy. It could be people on your WhatsApp. It could be your family members. It could be your friends. It could be at an event. It could be anywhere else. Already people in our membership club transact within one another. And if you haven't joined our membership club, you are missing out. Secure your first paying client. I think when we get to step number 3, that's when we know that you've got a business, okay? How you validate an idea, somebody needs to be willing to transact with you. 5th and the last step that is going to create the sustainability for you to start walking into formalizing your business is going to be some people, when one person buys or 2 people buy or 3 people buy, they start thinking, oh my God, yes, now I need to register, I need to have a PTY LTD or an LCC. No. Hello, Resonate community, and welcome to the best and the biggest sales and entrepreneurship podcast in the whole wide world. Do you know what is the most Googled phrase when it comes to entrepreneurship? Shockingly, it's how do I start a business? Yet 90% of aspiring entrepreneurs don't even make it to making the first sale. And there's a lot of factors and a lot of reasons why this happens. But today, I am going to be giving you a blueprint on how you're going to start a business, what matters and what doesn't, and how you can do this immediately after watching this video. The big misconception is that you need to register, get a tax number, and do all of this administrative things to start your business. But this is not true. I'm going to give you a guide, a step-by-step guide that is going to be implementable for you to start that business immediately. All right. So let's talk about why you should start a business in 2025 before we even get to the steps. I think it is important that you have a passion or you've got something that you're thinking of doing. You started in 2025. Why? Because you still have the leverage of AI, being able to learn AI at whatever level that it is at right now to advance you into your business ideas. And why start next year? You've got 3 more months to go because we are in the last quarter of the year. So this is the time when you can actually start. And because festive season is coming up, you've got a bigger chance of having more sales in your business, also depending on your industry. So you have to start right now if you're somebody who's looking into getting into business. So let's start into step 1, okay, to starting the business. The first thing that I want you to think about is find a problem worth solving, okay? Think about companies like Uber. Uber did not just create an app. Okay, they solved a problem, which is basically not having people wait for taxis that were unreliable and they didn't even know where the taxi are and they couldn't even plan their days and their trips from a time perspective. So what problem exists in the business that you're wanting to start? Some of you watching this right now might already have the business idea or the thing that you want to start. But what I want you to ask yourself is, yes, they could be the thing, but what problem is the thing actually solving? And that is how you will be able to identify the business idea. It's important to ask yourself, what are people complaining about concerning the thing that you're passionate about? If you are in the beauty industry, what are people complaining about in the beauty industry? You could be in the beauty industry and you're a makeup artist. Instead of just saying, I offer makeup or makeup is a business you want to start, think about how do you niche yourself to solve a specific problem? What are people looking into? Do you want to do makeup masterclasses? Do you want to help people do their makeup more efficiently using drugstore products? Do you want to be the makeup artist that is going to use cruelty-free, healthy makeup products for people's faces so that it can also help them take care of their faces? What does that look like? But find a problem to solve. Each and every single business, its success is based on solving a problem that people actually have a pain point about, okay? This is usually very entry level and easy for a lot of people once they identify the problem. But once they identify the problem, the common mistake that happens is that people go and they register a company. They get a company bank account and they say, yeah, now I officially have a business. No. Not yet, okay? You don't have a business yet. Let's get into step number 2. Step number 2 is you validate before you build. I shout this from the top of my lungs each and every single time I speak to a lot of people that want to start a business. You have to test the demand of your product at the first iteration of it before you start releasing it to its greater length and over investing in it before you validate it. It's very, very important. So what does validating an idea looks like? Validating it is basically getting the first few people to buy, kind of doing market research, but while you're already in the market. Because a lot of people say, yeah, I want to do some market research, but are you already in the market to do enough research? So when you validate your idea, you're saying, how many people can buy from me right now? So before you start paying for the big websites and doing the business cards. Find the people in your community to buy. It could be people on your WhatsApp. It could be your family members. It could be your friends. It could be at an event. It could be anywhere else. But find almost like a smaller group of people that are going to buy from you so they can give you feedback around how you can develop that product before you even release it globally. So you can even have, if your product was initially priced at, let's say, $100, maybe the first few clients you're going to get can pay 80, can pay 40 or 50, and then you call it like the beta version, the pre-launch version. But it is important that you realize that launch day is not the day where you are doing fireworks and the first sale is going to come in. Launch day is when we release it to the greater public at large and when we do all of these big things, but you have to validate the idea first. If you want to be a makeup artist, start with your family, friends, start with people around you that would be able to buy into it, and you do their faces. This is when you also start accumulating the reviews. This is when you also start accumulating the proof that you are able to do it, because trying to do a big launch without the actual proof that this is a viable business and there's a need and you've serviced people before in the past, or people have used your products, is going to be very difficult for you, because even if you do that, people still want the surety that they can still work with you, and even as they work with you, this is something that you've done in the past before. So validating your idea is very, very important. Validation is when someone pays. It's not when someone says, that's a nice idea. That's not how you validate it. Because even if you were to tell people around you that this is something that I want to do, I'm passionate about this business, great. They might say this is such an amazing idea and cheer you on. But that is not how you validate an idea. How you validate an idea, somebody needs to be willing to transact with you to actually make sure that this is worth their money. And after they have transacted with you, one of the things you want to do is get feedback. What do they think? How can you improve? And especially if they are aware that you are basically selling the better version of whatever it is that you want to eventually sell, they can give you constructive feedback to not like hurt your feelings or to like stroke your ego, but to really be honest with you around the areas where you can develop this idea for yourself. So very important, sell on WhatsApp, sell on phone calls before you build the big store, before you do the big website. I mean, Resonate has been running for so many years, and we had a small Shopify store. Only now we are about to launch our website that has all the information and is all of our deliverables, because we really truly understood that it's going to take us so many months to work around what our strategy is, what our value proposition is, and what it is we want to be known for in the market, and not drown into what everyone else thinks or what people say we should be known for in the market. And that only takes that validation process that you do. And sometimes the validation process takes a while, but you must be okay with that, because you need to know that when you enter into the market, and I think there are certain levels of, I will say, visibility that you reach that might not give you the privilege of still trying to finesse it or faith it till you make it. But you get to certain levels of visibility that require you to be professional, that require you to know what you're doing, that require you to fully have a full understanding of what it is that you're offering in the market and still stand with that. So very, very important. Validate your idea before you build. If you're somebody, for instance, who has a capital intensive business, or you want to build courses, or you want to do something that might not be easy to validate, create a waiting list, okay? A waiting list also helps you know how many people are in need of something like that. So you would have to say to people, this is something that we're working on. If you need this, or we're going to make it exclusive, here's a waiting list, and it's going to be between this price and that price. Create a pricing range. And when people come on the waiting list, they're basically saying, hey, I am interested in hearing more and in purchasing this. So you're basically kind of also doing a needs analysis before you over invest financially with your resources, with everything. So especially if you are somebody that does courses, very important, a needs analysis is going to be key and is really going to help you identify the people that are going to buy, and also identify whether or not people need something like this. And a waiting list is also kind of an exclusive way to do a needs analysis, because then you can even get granular. So once you create the waiting list, maybe every single week or bi-weekly, you're able to send emails or Google Forms to those people to say, hi, while we are still working on this thing, please answer these 2 questions for us. What is the most important thing? So that waiting list actually helps you build these courses for yourself and for your community in a way that is thoughtful and in a way that handles the pain points of the people you want to serve. So this becomes very, very important. Okay. Step number 3 is obviously something that we have kind of also touched on when we spoke about validating your idea, and that is secure your first paying client. I think when we get to step number 3, that's when we know that you've got a business. Okay. I always say that a lot of people are saying things like they're looking for funding or they need somebody to give them a cash injection in their business. And I'm always of the belief that for majority of industries, and this is not for all industries, because I do understand that there are certain industries that do need a capital injection to run, but there are certain industries where your first few paying clients are going to be the capital you need to take yourself to the next level as you gradually build to eventually building the thing, right? And I always say this: you don't have a business until somebody buys from you. As long as you've got the fancy website, the content, but there isn't any money actually coming into the account, you don't have a business. And I always say to people, don't rush to register and to build, like to have a business account when you haven't even gotten any transaction. Because that business account, when it's not getting any transactions, it is incurring fees that you have to pay for. And how are you going to pay for those fees if you don't have an actual client, or if you don't have an actual pipeline where people are transacting with you on a regular basis? So secure your first pay client. And this is important. This is how you launch a business. You secure your first paying client. You don't do the balloons. You don't do the big shabam. You don't do the big launch. No, you secure the first few people that are willing to buy from you and actually transact. And this is why then it's important that you pitch the idea to your community, pitch the idea to either your church peers, your people in the community, so they can buy from you. One of the things we actually want to encourage a lot of people in our Resonate Hub club membership is to pitch their different ideas to the community that exists. And we do this every single last Friday of the month, where you pitch your idea, or it could be a certain product offering that you have. And then people in the community, if they are convinced, they actually get to buy from you. So if you have a community that you can do this with, it's going to be important. It's going to help you get your first paying clients. Already people in our membership club transact within one another. And if you haven't joined our membership club, you are missing out. It is $20 a month, and it is on a school platform. And we basically just are curating this amazing space of entrepreneurs where we are hosting masterclasses from myself, from some of our podcast guests, from some of the world-renowned thought leaders that come on the platform, and they give so much information. And we also use that as a spot to network, try out ideas, and validate and get honest feedback on either your social media posts or some of the decisions that you're making online. So if you haven't really joined this, please, the link is going to be down below in the description. Go ahead and join it. It'll be such a pleasure and an honor to have you. So find your first paying clients. You can do this by creating pre-orders. I also mentioned creating a waiting list. This is very important. You can do just find a way to validate that there are people who need this. And beyond validation, there are people who are willing to actually part ways with their money for this idea. So once you create that waiting list, right, and you're seeing, okay, there's a demand, there's a need, let them pay, even if it's a deposit for that coaching program or for that course or some sort of a payment plan, but let them commit in a financial means way that allows you to identify that this is something that will be viable and this is something that is going to have people start paying. And when you secure your first paying client, you start refining the product, you start refining the process. Maybe your waiting list was just a document and you were chatting to these people on WhatsApp. But now when the waiting list grows, you start getting platforms like your System.io, where you can then start automating the process. So what securing your first few clients allows you to do at a good price is it allows you to start working on your systems and your processes in a way that is going to get you more clients in. Because it's better if you're talking to 10 clients or 5 clients or 8 clients on WhatsApp, but 100 people come in, it's not going to be manageable. So you want to start automating what that looks like. And there's a lot of platforms that would be able to help you do that thing. So important, secure your first paying clients. 4th step, okay? But I want you to know that by 3rd step, we already are now building a business, okay? But the 4th step is don't get stuck in the paperwork too early. Some people, when one person buys or 2 people buy or 3 people buy, they start thinking, oh my God, yes, now I need to register. I need to have a PTY LTD or an LCC. No, you don't need to. We're still validating the idea. We're still growing it. We're still making it work. Sometimes the idea and the product that you start with might not be the product that you end with, because when you're getting feedback from your initial client, you might remodel it, you might advance it, you might change it around. And those small things can easily change how you eventually do business. So it is important to remain very agile and very adaptable in the beginning process of your business, because now you are literally still in the building phase, okay? The business is not standing yet. We are building. So that's going to be very important. So don't get stuck in the paperwork too early. Registering a company and opening a business account only comes after revenue. And it only comes after a revenue good enough that allows us to see that, okay, If maybe for the past 2 months, I've made 500, I've made 2,000. This means that I'm on a good trajectory to create a good pipeline that can essentially help me make 3,000 or 1,000. Then you can start all of those other things. And because now you validated your idea, you are also refining it a bit more and it's been refined. We can then start saying, now I can start pitching to other businesses. I can start rocking up in places where I can be talking boldly about my business because now I've got a good pipeline and now I have a better understanding of what it is that I'm doing. So this becomes very, very, very important. And a lot of founders waste a lot of time here instead of selling. They waste a lot of time with the paperwork. They waste a lot of time saying things like, my website is being developed or my online store is still being built. How are you still building an online store if you haven't validated that somebody wants to click on some platform to buy from you? You're going to be wasting so much time. And with the festive season coming up and a lot of people making amazing buying decisions because there will be bonuses and money will be flowing, it becomes very important for you to just test the product, validate the idea now. If you're watching this in September, so that by December, you have some form of a grounding and you're already in the market to get more and more clients actually coming in. So this becomes important. So we only formalize the business when we are making consistent sales, and then now we need a tax number or we are seeking for more investors, but we validated an idea. We've brought the idea into the market and we're saying it works. It's making 500, it's making 1,000, and now we want to take it to make 5,000. Now we want to take it to make 10,000. Now we want to go on global stages. Now we want to spread our wings. Only then can we start formalizing the business. But before we've done that, you've no business formalizing a business or even worrying about the formalities of it because it has not been validated as yet. There's a lot of people to this day that are still transacting using their personal accounts. And I don't see clients ever worrying about that unless you're in a specific industry that is regulated and you need to have certain documents to get access to clients 100%. But if you're doing something like baking or something that you're doing in the comfort of your own home that does not need a huge capital injection, please start with what you have and don't get stuck in the paperwork too early. Fifth and the last step that is going to create the sustainability for you to start walking into formalizing your business is going to be building a simple sales map. This is something that we do really well in terms of giving you templates in the CEO Blueprint, which is our number one best-selling product that we've had over the past 2 years at the Resonate Hub. And what this basically is, you're able to curate where you are going to be getting clients and how you're going to be getting clients in a consistent way. This is very, very important. Who can you sell to this month? Okay. And the practical way to do this is, I call this the 3 10s. It's going to be very important. The first one is your 10 potential customers that you know. So who are the 10 people that you know right now that can buy from you, right? If you know, is it family members? Is it people that have inquired in the past? Is it people that have bought from you that can buy again? Who are the 10 first people that can buy from you? Second one is, who are the 10 people in your extended network? So it could be people that other 10 people that would be able to tell the next person to buy from you, or the other 10 people that can buy from you once again, which would make it 20 if we were to include the first ones. Or it's the other 10 people that you know from your extended network, either from an event or from a community or from the Resonate Members Club, if you're already in there, that would potentially either buy from you or know people that would be able to buy from you. And the third one is the 10 strangers you can reach out to through content or ads that would be able to buy from you. So if you already are on a social media platform, how can you reach out? So is this the 10 people that have been commenting on your posts, that have been liking, that you can potentially DM and voice note and maybe give them some sort of a special so they can start buying from you? But it's important that you curate a pipeline. A pipeline essentially becomes a line of people that are either waiting and are prospects and have a high chance of buying from you. So these are people that you want to start moving from just inquiry to, okay, I'm interested in the low end, and then maybe you're going to upsell me, and then maybe I'm going to start spending a lot of money in your business. So this becomes very important. Start building a simple pipeline. And this is something you need to do monthly. We did a video last week and we were talking about how to plan your month like a CEO. Very important again. And part of that plan must include what a sales pipeline looks like for you. So who's going to transact with you this month, so that you don't wait towards the end of the month and you're shocked and you are struggling and you're trying to figure out, it's the 25th, I haven't made anything, and now you want to discount everything and you end up not making money and decreasing the value of your brand because you constantly show up with these big discounts, but you don't show up with value. And showing up with value only happens when you do that strategically, and you only do that strategically when you show up from beginning of the month all the way through the end of the month in a way that allows people to know that, okay, I can trust in this person, I can trust in their products, and I'd be able to buy from them, which is going to be very, very important. But if you need help with all of these 5 steps, like I said, join the membership club. But if you need more intense and one-on-one help, we do offer consultations at Resonate Hub. And the link is going to be below. That also shows how you can move from just watching this video to being into part of our funnel as well, where you can get more consultation, more one-on-one work, and we can actually help you curate this on a personal and very business strategic way for your specific business and not as generic, which is very, very important. So what are the biggest common mistakes that you need to avoid? Spending months on logos and websites before you validate the idea. Avoid that altogether. And the second one is thinking funding comes first, because it is not true. Funding does not come first, okay? Your first customer is what actually comes first. And then the third one is copying trends without solving a problem. I really want to encourage you that don't start a business because you saw somebody on TikTok say that they're making a lot of money from it, or you saw somebody talk about how this is such an amazing business. No, start a business because you've got a problem to solve where you are in your specific area. And it is because you're also not only passionate about it, but there's a problem you can actually solve, and not because people are saying that this is the most beautiful thing to start right now. We don't follow trends. We follow serving and solving problems, which is something that we spoke about in the previous video as well. So it's very important that you learn this. And I just want to close this off by sharing a mindset shift that I want you to think about every time you start a business, or when you're thinking of starting or growing a business, is think of yourself like a salesperson first before you're a CEO. Okay. You don't have 3 floors in this big building and now you have to manage it as yet. All that you have right now is either your first customer or the potential first customer. So think of yourself as a salesperson, and you sell and you sell and you sell. And the more that you sell, it becomes easier, because business is built on conversations, sales, and systems. And you need to put yourself in positions where you are having those conversations so that you can sell. And as you sell, you're building systems that is going to scale, that are going to scale that business for yourself. So this is very, very important. So you start with the problem, and then you validate, and then you get your first customer, and then you build business around that. And that is how you're going to make sure that you set yourself up for your business. And that's really what matters in 2025. That's essentially how you're going to build this business in 2025. So I hope that this video has given you more clarity into how you're going to move forward from starting your business and into building your business in a way that is more sensible. And you can even plan this and literally have a 3 months plan with what we've just spoken about, is using September as a validation phase, and then October now being able to say now you're going to get in the market because you've refined, and November and December where you would now have so much strategy on how you're going to penetrate your specific market in a way that's going to allow you to make more sales. So I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you had any aha moments or anything that you're struggling with, I'm creating a lot of content to make sure that I help you get past the ideating phase but actually going into the market. So if you have any more questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'm creating a lot of short form content that is going to be super helpful on my various social media platforms that you can also follow below. But with that said, thank you so much for tuning in towards the end. We'll see you guys on our next podcast episode. Goodbye.